All right, Chris.
All right, can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me, brother?
I hear you.
Hey, sounds good. We got a good connection.
That's good.
That's real good from where we're talking. Nice, brother. Nice. Let me open the show and I'll get right with you. All right.
All right.
All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another great episode of No Cover TV. Yes, that's right. I'm your host, Big Al, and we bring you the original music scene, the local and national music scene, where I take it and shove it and just put it in your face and all over. I would like you to listen to it because there's a lot of great music out there of all genres, of all age groups. And we are bringing it to you. If you haven't checked out the past shows, please check out the past shows. And of course, the upcoming shows, which we've got some really, literally killer shows coming up from all over the place. And I want to thank everybody out there. Not only are we not just in America, we are all over the world now, which is great. And we got a great show today because we are actually tapping all the way on the other side of the world on this show. Oh, yes, I'm loving it, everybody. But you know how you can get a hold of me? Probably not. But, anyways, No Cover TV on Facebook. All right, look me up or Al Brady on Facebook page there. And if you do the Instagram thing, that is No Cover TV one on Instagram. And if you want to hit me up on email, that's No Cover TV at yahoo.com. Get a hold of me, bands, artists. It doesn't matter what type of music you got out there. Let's get it out there. Let me get in your head, get your story, and get your music out there so everybody can hear it. Like I said, turn off that radio, quit listening to the commercial music so much, and check out the music that's around you because there's a lot of great stuff, a lot of great music out there. So let me shut up and get to our guest today. I'm pumped for this show, and I should because it's late at night here. Whoa, we're going all the way to South Korea. Chris Brandon in the house. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm awake. It's a late one here.
Yeah, it's an early one here.
Yeah, early for you, late for me. This is unbelievable, my friend. So appreciate you coming on the show. Chris is with doing quite a few different projects, but we're going to talk about a few projects, and then we're going to talk about your main project, right?
Yes.
All right. Well, you dabble into the hardcore metal, more the black death metal scene.
I'm kind of all over the place.
Yeah,
Um,
you
each
are.
each band kind of has its own, kind of fits within its own genre, whatever subgenre they've developed at this point.
Well, that's why I was looking. You got was it three projects? So you got three styles and of writing and stuff.
Right, right. All three are vastly different.
Yeah, tremendously. Now we'll get to those and stuff now, but your recent project is now. Help me say the name of it. Eisige Venen.
Eisige Venen.
Eisige Venen. Okay. Yeah. What does that mean?
It's German for icy veins.
Icy veins. Okay, I knew it meant something. All right. Nice. Icy veins. I like that. When did you start that project?
Well, that project actually started about 3 years ago, kind of at the height of COVID.
Did it? Okay.
And it was founded by the main songwriter, Mark Williams, as a one-man metal project. Um,
Okay.
but he kind of got to a point where, he wasn't, I'm not gonna say he wasn't interested in doing vocals, but he thought he could, if he wanted to take it to the next level, he needed to bring in a singer. Um,
Okay.
so he brought in Curtis from their former band from the late 90s, Balsamon.
Mm.
And so I think that was in February or March of this year. And
All right.
shortly after that, I was like, I was in a cover band over here in Korea, and
Okay.
the singer was getting ready to leave. The drummer was getting ready to leave. So I was like, let me find a way to keep this thing going, because I had invested all this money in this equipment,
Yeah.
and
Right.
what am I going to do with it now, right? So
Yeah. Exactly.
um,
Oh man.
I had done I was doing a YouTube channel with a friend of mine, and we actually reviewed one of Mark's songs, one of the early Eisige Venen songs. And so I reached out to Mark and I said, hey, you looking for a bass player? It's no longer a one-man project, right? Let's see if I can weasel my way in here.
Right.
So, he sent me a track, and I'm sure there was probably a little hesitation on his side, because he didn't really know me. He didn't know, you know, what
Right.
my style was, what I could do. But he liked what he heard, so he brought me
Well,
on.
good deal. Good deal. Well, we're getting a little ahead of ourselves. I want to go back a little bit before we go forward with you. You're serving the country, aren't you? Aren't you in the Marines or the Army?
I spent my first 4 years in the Marines from 2001 to 2005, and went back to Michigan for a little bit.
Awesome.
And it didn't work out so well.
Yeah.
So they don't have the programs. They didn't have the programs in place that they have now, to really set you up for success. So
Right.
I was more focused on getting back, getting out of the military and, being a civilian again. And that lasted about 6 months, and then I joined the Army.
Then you joined the Army. Okay. How long have you been stationed in South Korea?
A little over 3 years at this point.
3 years. Okay. All right. You going for full retirement?
Oh yeah. I got my retirement packet's already in.
Already in. Nice, brother. Good deal. Oh, that's awesome, my friend. So you're going to come back home? You staying over there?
Oh no, I'll be going back to the States.
Okay. Coming back to the States. Probably going to a warm state, aren't you?
I am. Well, my house is in Georgia, so
the house is in Georgia. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right, cool. Well, so we appreciate Chris doing everything he's doing for our country and stuff. But Chris, let's jump on the time capsule now. All right, brother. This is where I get to pick on you. Okay. Oh, yeah. Let's have some fun. All right, let's go back in time. Let's go back to when you're old. Let's do 15 years old. What are you jamming to on the radio and stuff, cassettes and stuff?
So 15, that would have put us in 1997. I was listening to a lot of Metallica, Power Man 5000. Yeah. I got really into the new metal thing.
Yeah, Power Man, nice. So, what age did you want to pick up an instrument? Was it bass? Was the first instrument, or did you pick up a guitar first?
Well, we're gonna go way back in time.
Oh, yeah, we will talk.
We'll go down to probably 1984, 1985 when I was 3.
There we go. Oh, 3, and yeah.
I remember I had this tambourine that had a drum head on it, and I had a rattle, and that was my drumstick.
Right.
So, my dad was a musician. Matter of fact, his band opened for the Amboy Dukes back in 67 or 68.
That's incredible, because I was reading your bio about your dad there, and that's incredible. Mm-hmm. You grew up with a dad that's a musician like that. Wow. You must have learned quite a bit from him.
Not so much. He was not interested in me playing music at all. He didn't want the other stuff that came along with being a musician, the road that a lot of musicians go down into drugs and alcohol and everything else. So
exactly.
By the time I came to be,
different road.
By the time I came to be, that was already in his distant past. So I gravitated to his brother, who was still a musician.
Okay.
Matter of fact, he's still playing. He's still playing down around the Detroit.
Is he really? Oh, nice. That's great. So, what turned you on to the bass?
Blues band.
It's a blues. I was going to say, what turned you onto the bass guitar?
Honestly, it was Peter Steele from Typo Negative.
Was it? Oh, that's pretty cool.
I don't really know why. I saw a picture of him in a Hit Parader magazine, and I said, I want to be that.
You want to be that? So is that when you went and got a bass guitar and started hitting it?
Yeah, my parents were apprehensive to get me an instrument. They gave it to me under the condition that I would never be in a band. So we see how that turned out.
Right. Oh, no. Yeah, I've made a lot of promises to my mom, too. That didn't work out.
Yeah, I had a little, they got me a Ibanez TR50 bass, and I had a little 15-watt PV amp.
That's all you needed for then. I'm sure you moved up very quickly to bigger equipment.
Not really.
No?
Yeah. No, we weren't rich or anything, so I just kind of played with what I had, and I ended up in I played percussion in the middle and high school band.
Okay, great.
So then I got into playing drums, and I had two jazz sets. So I had two bass drums, two toms that were the exact same size. I just tuned one higher than the other, and then I had an extra snare that I took the snares off of and tuned that a little lower. So that was my floor tom.
Okay. There you go. Make do with what you got. If you got some extras, use them. Most definitely. So when did you decide that you were going to put a band together and start getting into the music business here?
So I'd been in, I wouldn't necessarily say bands, but I had guys in the area that I lived in that I played with. We did a lot of Metallica and Guns N' Roses covers.
Yeah.
And then I went in the military, and with the kind of the nomadic lifestyle, I kind of gave up on music because everybody that you meet, they're like, "Oh yeah, I can play," and then they don't have any equipment.
Yeah.
And all the ones that have equipment can't play. So
that's funny how that works.
Yeah.
So what was the first band? Was it? Tell me what age did you start your first band?
I was probably about 15, maybe 14, 15.
So you're still a teenager.
Yeah. But like I said, we didn't have, we weren't playing really shows or anything like that. We just kind of played in my basement or over at my guitarist's house. But by the time I graduated, we had like two bands that we kind of just loaned players to each other, and we play like New Year's Eve or whatnot. And
nice. So then when you were done with high school, did you go right into the service?
I did. I enlisted the summer before my senior year.
Okay. So you went right into the service. So you didn't have much time any really time to play at all for the next 3 to 4 years.
Well, because I joined the Marine Corps and I went to boot camp July 11th, 2001. And my first duty station was Okinawa. And I got really into the music scene there because their music scene is legit. Like you wouldn't expect it, especially being such a small island, but they had this core of really good bands, and it got me interested in playing again. So I went out and bought a BC Rich, and I taught myself how to play guitar.
Excellent. They are intense over there. Back when I was doing the TV show in the 2000s, my buddy would fly over back and forth there in China and smuggle music out, and he'd bring it to me, and it was so intense it blew the metal away in the States, by far.
Yeah, there's a big European influence on their metal scene over there.
It was incredible. But they had to smuggle their music out of there, which was sad at that day. But I don't think now they have to smuggle it out. So
I'm not sure. I know there's music over there, but with the way the communist regimes go, I mean, everything is really restricted.
It is. So when were you able to start your first project? Was that, which project was that your first one that you started?
I haven't really started any projects. I've jumped into things that were already established.
All right. Okay. Let's talk about a couple of those things. And before we get into say the name for me. I'm going to say Eisige. Can I say Eisige Venen?
Sure.
Okay, I like Eisige Venen. That's great. So you did, what was it? Anger Overdose. Talk to me about that project. Was that just a quickie?
Well, I had, with the way the music scene is blowing up on Facebook with, Vox and Styx and the Band Together group, I ended up linking up with Rob from Anger Overdose, and I was just like, with one band, I had a lot of time to kill, because you're not going to be writing material all the time. And I am not a composer by any stretch of the imagination. So I hit up Rob and I was like, if you want to do a collab or something, because they didn't have, a live bass player. So I was like, maybe I can fill that void and we can come up with something together.
Nice.
And so Rob sent me a song and I laid down a bass track for it. And he's like, so you want the job?
There you go. So you,
I guess, sure, why not?
right. So how'd that work out?
It worked out well.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good chemistry in that band, and we have a good time together.
Nice. Good. Now, are all of you around the same area in South Korea?
No,
No.
all three bands I'm in are spread out geographically.
I was wondering about how you were doing this.
Yeah, Eisige Venen, Mark is in Austin, Texas. Curtis is in Arkansas. And Anger Overdose, you got Rob and Ambrose, I think, are in Philly. And then Mel, she's in Australia. And then Dead Deceased is the Mark from Eisige Venen is also a part of that. But then we have Richard from Morning Scars, and he's over in Gothenburg, Sweden.
Wow. Okay, so you're just sending tracks back and forth to each other, and then until it comes to complete.
Pretty much, yeah.
That's pretty cool. I like how you're doing that. Now, once these are completed, are we bringing them, throwing them up on the platforms? 'Cause I know you're doing some YouTube stuff with it.
Yeah. So each band varies. Anger Overdose and Dead Deceased, you can find them on all streaming platforms.
Okay.
Mark is really disenchanted with the non-physical media in the streaming because you get paid nothing, really.
No, yeah.
You get a band like Cradle of Filth, and the lead singer, after releasing an album, makes like 23 pounds. And
lots of money.
Yeah. So Mark and Curtis and I opted to take our music off of streaming platforms and go strictly with Bandcamp.
Cool. I like that. I like that. Pretty cool. You do it your way. It definitely works for you. Right. I like that. Old school. I'm old school myself. A lot of this technology puzzles me. It's definitely a lot different than it was 20 years ago, wasn't it? When you had to open the trunk and put a poster and stuff up.
Right.
And of all these platforms and stuff. What do you think about all this platforms and stuff? Do you think it's a little too saturated?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's you got to, how do you get above the static? Because with technology the way it is, and anybody with a pulse can put out quote unquote music.
Even true.
These streaming platforms are so saturated with stuff that it makes it hard to stand out.
It does. And I'm thankful that there's a lot of people like myself and others that promote the original music scene and push your music out there and kind of separate a little bit from, I don't want to say junk, but just separate from the others.
Yeah. Well, I mean, with social media, while it brings people closer together, it lacks that personal interaction, right? So, you remember going to a record store back in the day and just combing through the physical media, and you find artwork or whatever that stood out to you. You're like, I don't know what this is, but I'm going to get this because this looks awesome.
Exactly. You did. You didn't care what it sounded like. You got it because of the artwork. Right. And then you're glad you got it because it was really sounding really cool too.
Exactly.
Yeah, we are lacking that.
And I was fooled by the virtual world and made some bad decisions. Actually got rid of most of my CDs, and then my house got robbed and they took all the CDs I had left. So I really don't have any physical media left.
That's not cool.
Because I'm like, being in the military, I move around a lot. I mean, shit, I've lived 15 places in the last 20 years, and
jeez.
So I was like, if I can have everything in the cloud, then, I don't have to move it around. Well, the shadow side to that is, and I was a movie review discussion YouTube channel for a while. Somebody that I was doing it with is really into the physical media stuff. And he said, well, what happens when it's not there anymore? And I'd never thought about that. Because all it takes is for one of these streaming platforms or an artist or anybody else to remove it. And then after that, I noticed, in my Amazon Music, there was albums that I had, downloaded or whatever. It says it's no longer available. So now what do you do?
Oh, really? Okay, so it's gone. Yeah. Yeah. What do you do? Yeah.
So if you don't have the physical media, or if the censors come in and say, this isn't acceptable in society, and it just goes away.
it disappears. We don't want that to happen. No, no. Physical copies are the best way to have it. So, I like the digital age, but like I said, there's a downfall side of it too when it comes to this. And so, but let's get on to the main band. Eisige, say it for me again because I'm not good. Eisige
Venen.
Eisige Venen. Eisige Venen. Eisige Venen. No, I'm not good with my foreign one. Oh, I can't do this. Yes, I can. Anyways, I know I love him, the music. Intense. He just went right inside and grabbed my soul, brother. Oh, yeah. I'm liking that. He shook me up. So, where'd you come up with the music? Were you?
That all comes from Mark's brain.
That's from Mark's head. All right.
That is all Mark. That first album is 100% Mark. He's a really emotional guy, and he pours his emotion onto his music. And while he likes the heavy, he's more of a fan of melody. So that's why in that album you hear a lot of melody. And what I tried to do is try to complement that with moving bass lines, because I don't want bass lines that just follow the guitar. That's boring.
Right. I agree with you.
So, I grew up on Motown and, stuff like that. So that's where a lot of the influence for the bass lines in that album came from.
Okay. All right. Now, being a bass player and stuff, are you slapping? Are you picking? What are we doing? How are you playing?
I do whatever the music calls for.
Okay, so you're pretty much versatile to every song that comes around. It's a pick. It's a pick.
Exactly. I used to be a purist because, my bass idol is Cliff Burton, and he never used a pick.
Right.
But as I grew older, I realized, everything has a purpose. And so if there's a bass line that needs a pick because it kind of goes down that Megadeth trail, then yeah, I'll use a pick. But if it requires slap, I've done that. The song I did with Superposition and Anger Overdose, I did slap bass for the first time. It's not my forte. I'm not accustomed to it, but when I heard the song, that's what called out to me. I said, this has to be a slap bass part.
There you go. That's nice when you can feel that out and bring it to the band, and it adds to it definitely. Because bass player and your drummers, you definitely are the versatile and the backbone of the band, the rhythm section, most definitely. So, what now? You got some fans here. I see. How are they treating you? You getting some good responses about the music?
We do. But like everything else in the virtual world, a lot of it's superficial. We kind of fell into the follow for follow trap. And, while it does generate some fans, it's going to fall on a lot of deaf ears because, like I said, there's so much stuff out there. But the true fans, they have been absolutely wonderful. They support us. They're just great people. And even if you don't listen to the music, some of the friendships that I've cultivated since this whole thing started have, I'm closer to some of these people than I am people that I know.
That's great. That's great. Well, you do. You get to know people, and you get your music out there, whether they like it or not. They can appreciate it because you're an artist. It doesn't matter what genre you play and stuff like that. We're all doing the same thing, trying to make ourselves happy and other people happy with what we do.
Exactly.
Yes, exactly. So now, when you put these songs together with Eisige, did you go in a studio for this? Was it a home studio?
No, I do this all in my barracks room.
Yeah, but do you really?
I do.
That's great. What do you use? Pro Tools? What do we got?
No, I have a what is that? Focusrite Scarlett Audio interface.
Yep, the Focusrite. Nice.
And then, yeah, it's amazing. I didn't know this was possible.
That little thing can do a lot.
Absolutely. I've got a MIDI keyboard. I've got my guitar pedals and stuff. The software that I use to record onto is Reaper. That's the digital audio workstation that I use.
Right.
I'm working on a budget. So
Definitely do what you can do. But it sounds great what you're putting together. Now, are you doing all the parts and all the instrumentation? You're
No,
just
I don't do. I just do bass.
you're just doing the bass. Okay.
Primarily. The single we did, Tenebrius Intus,
Yes.
I did a small keyboard part, just like
Okay.
an accent. But I'm looking to do more guitar work, to try to lighten the load on Mark.
Okay. All right.
But my guitar style is more thrash. Because backing up, when I was in Okinawa learning to play guitar, I don't know if it like cemented something in my mind, but I was trying to play Slayer's Decade of Aggression, all the songs on there as close as I could. That's how I learned how to
Really
play guitar.
nice.
And so now everything I do on guitar is thrash. So,
Really all right. That's all I'm going to do and all I know.
uh, it's like I don't know how Mark does what Mark does, but I can't seem to replicate it or write anything that falls in line with what he does.
Really? Wow. That's amazing, though. Well, it's great you're all doing this together. And now you've been doing this for, what, 3 years with the guys? And,
Now about
well,
7 months.
7 months. 7 months. So that's not too long.
No,
Okay.
no. Most
And,
of the material for the debut album was already written.
okay.
I just kind of fell in on it and laid down my bass lines in probably
Okay.
a week and a half, maybe.
Okay.
And then we released the album. So
Oh,
it
no.
happened real quick.
Well, good. Good deal. Good response on that album and stuff.
To some degree. It's not where we would like to be. I haven't made a dime off of anything we've done. Right now, Mark's just trying to pay himself back for paying the producer.
Understandable. It is a little difficult in this business when you're original band and stuff, trying to make a dime or a buck off out there, and especially when it comes to the heavier metal and stuff. It's a little harder sometimes. I feel to get it a little bit out in Okinawa and stuff. I know you're not playing out or anything there, but the bands that are there places for original heavy metal music out there?
There is.
Is there?
Yeah, I was in a cover band for a little over a year, and every time we played, we had a good turnout. There's definitely a calling for it. There's about 4 or 5 other bands that are kind of like ours.
Oh, okay.
Matter of fact, in about 2 weeks, I'll be making a cameo, playing at an amphitheater with my former band and then 2 of the other bands that are there.
That's cool. Nice. Now, do you get to play out that often?
The difficult thing about playing here is the venues are very small, and
Okay.
it is kind of a hard sell because in South Korea, K-pop is king, right?
Yes.
So, but every time we played and anytime we could get the Koreans to come out, they absolutely loved it. They would lose their freaking minds.
That's great. I'd love to see that crowd. That's great. Yeah. That's cool.
If you want to do anything with it, you really have to go to Seoul, which is probably about a 2-hour trek from where I'm at, and logistically, it's very hard.
Oh, is it? All right. Okay. All right. Well, I want to ask you one of the questions I like to ask artists and stuff. We've been doing this a while. When you get up on the stage and you strap on that bass guitar and you start jamming and stuff, and you're looking out, and everybody starts having a good time singing the songs along with you, how does it make your heart feel?
That's the best part, but that's the hardest part to achieve.
Yeah.
You saw it in the Asian culture isn't like an American culture.
No.
So no, not in the least. They sit there and they stare at you, and then when you're done, they clap, and then they go back to sitting there. And it's really hard to get into it, when the crowd's just sitting there.
Right. Yeah.
But once you see somebody singing along or really getting into it, you feed off of their energy.
You do.
It's a mutual exchange.
Yeah.
But it's hard to muster that up when in the beginning, because they don't know who you are. And so how do you get out there and just, put your emotions into it to a sterile crowd? It's
right.
difficult.
It is difficult. And on the back end of that question, when you get up on the stage and pick up that guitar, do you run into any anxiety before you start your first song or set?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. I got to have some liquid courage,
There you go. Some bravery, courage. That's right.
Yeah.
I understand that, definitely. And then we can go on the backside of that. When you leave the stage, how long does it take you to come down?
Not too awfully long.
No?
There's a lot of work that goes into tearing down, because a lot of the places here, and I use here as my prime example because that's really my only experience playing live.
Yeah.
Is doing it over here. But you're on maybe the 6th or 7th floor of a building, and then you got to lug all this crap down and load it up in the car and drive it home. I mean,
oh no.
We might finish around 11 p.m. or so, but we don't finish packing out, and I'm not home until 1, 2, 3 in the morning. So
boy. That's a long day, long night, I should say. Wow. I don't miss it, actually. Oh boy. So I want to ask you another question here. Now, let's see which one either are here. All right, you're out there playing and jamming. What and I know you have thought about this over the years. In your mind, what would be that stage that you'd want to perform on? What is the top stage in the world you'd want to perform on?
That's difficult.
Some good stages.
Yeah. I would say because it's close to home, would probably be Pine Knob.
Really? Pine Knob, awesome. There, you heard it, folks. We're from Michigan here. Pine Knob, that is awesome. That's a great play.
That's where I saw Roger Waters play, and that's
That's awesome. That was a while ago.
Yeah, that was back in 90, 99, 98.
That was a while ago. Yes, indeed. Yeah, yes. My goodness. Now, out there where you are in Okinawa, some good venues to check out music, theaters and stuff, amphitheaters.
In Korea, not so much. I've heard of places. I actually haven't seen a show outside of bands that I know since I've been here. COVID really locked this place down. So for the first 2 years I was here, you guys were free to do whatever you wanted in the States. Okay, everything was shut down here.
Wow.
So, I'm not much of a people person, and the population of that, I think it's something like 50% of the population of South Korea lives in Seoul. And so, I'm not interested in, you got 10 pounds of shit in a 2-pound bag. I don't like being constricted like that.
Me either, brother. No, not at all. Well, let me ask you one other question here, and then we're going to get to some songs. And you probably thought of this one too, because I have. Who you want to play with out there? Who would you like to jam with on stage? Anybody.
From the bands that are out here, I mean, I've played with all the ones that are here that I know of.
It could be a famous star to anybody you think
of. I would say for Eisige Venen, I would like to play with Rotting Christ. I think that would fit.
Really? Oh, nice. Okay, nice. What do you think they'd think the same?
I have no idea.
That's great. So, how many songs you guys got on your belt?
Well, we had the first album, which was, I think, 9 songs, and then we had the single after that, and we've got one song minus the vocals done. And Mark and I have been tooling around with probably 4 or 5 other ideas. So the thought is to release an EP probably early next year.
Okay, that'd be great. I'd love to hear that. Sweet. Well, what platforms can anybody out there in podcast lands hear you, get a hold of the EP, CDs, and find out more about you and the music?
All right. So for Eisige Venen, everything is on YouTube and Bandcamp. And then for Anger Overdose, all of your major streaming platforms, minus Bandcamp, they're not on Bandcamp yet. And Dead Deceased is on all of the platforms, including Bandcamp.
All right, nice. So people can get out there, check it out, and get to the platforms and YouTube and check out the music. All right, you're gonna like this. It grabs a hold of you like it did me, and it shakes you up. And I'm a big guy, and too much shakes me up. The good stuff. I'm liking it. So get to your devices and check out some of this music. Now, I want to talk about a couple songs here. Now, Ghost of Yesterday. I like that.
Thank you.
Talk to me about that. Did you have any part in writing that?
Not outside of my bass lines. Like I said, everything was pretty much already done. Mark had been writing in that over the last 3 years. And so, they had already released, crap, I can't remember the name of the song. Hold on a second.
Sure.
Death Springs Eternal. They actually had a music video for that one, but I told Mark that I really wanted to redo the bass line, and I think it turned out for the best. That can go either way, right?
Yeah, right. So that turned out great, I think. Sweet. So now the other song was where you did a collaboration with what's her name? Was it Melissa?
Militia. Yeah, she's from Anger Overdose.
Yeah, that was cool. Was it Tenebris Intus?
Tenebris Intus, yep.
Intus, okay. I'm trying. With my words here, I'm trying. So, I thought the score was very interesting on that song, the way it was put together.
Yeah, I think it might have been a bridge too far. I think it kind of alienated some fans, and we don't like to hold ourselves to a label, because when you over categorize yourself, you put yourself in a box, and we didn't want to be in a box. So personally, I try to keep us away from the black metal label because their fans are rabid, right? So if you don't fit this mold, even though the whole premise was we're not going to fit in a mold, if you don't fit in this mold, then you don't belong. So.
Right. Well, let me ask you now, would you sign a label if it came along, or do you want to stay independent?
Well, we are kind of on a label loosely. We're on Rotting Sun Records. It's run by a guy named Josh Tate, and he's it's a small tape label, but he kind of manages all of our distribution and stuff.
That's nice.
We've had offers in the past, and I think we were wise to avoid them.
Yeah.
Because when you bring a label into it, and now you bring the politics and the redistribution of money and everything else, but we have full control essentially over everything that we do. Like I said, Josh just kind of manages our output.
Okay, nice. Now, who does all the PR and stuff and puts stuff on the platforms?
All of us.
You're all doing the work. Okay, good. Not just one of you.
Right.
Good. You're all helping out. That's good. I like that. Now, have you done any other internet shows, radio shows, write-ups, reviews?
We had some write-ups and reviews. We used I think it was Metal Devastation, and they pushed our stuff out to some people, and we got some reviews. We've done a few interviews, maybe like 4 or 5. Notably, what is that called? The name escapes me at the moment. Local band Smokeout or something. Mark did that
I'm
one.
not sure. Okay.
And then we did Vox and Guest. So anybody that knows the indie music scene knows Vox and Sticks.
Yes.
Great people.
Yeah. Nice.
And not much, but it grows, and
Okay.
any opportunity like this one, is good to get the name out there and to
Definitely.
get
I'm
us
glad
to know us as people.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad we hooked up. I am. I'm glad you're on the show today, my friend. Where do we see the future with the band? 5 years or so. What are we gonna do?
Well, I think we're all pressing forward. Every band has their sights set on the future. So
Nice. Nice.
a lot of overcoming the static and the noise of the indie music scene is longevity. And so, from the Eisige Venen standpoint, that's how we look at it. Most bands they'll fizzle and fade after one, maybe two albums.
Yeah. So, I hope you continue on. Definitely get to that second, third, fourth, and continue on down the line.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, keep it going, man. I think your music's great, and it needs to get out there, and I want to hear more of it. I want you back on the show in 6 months or so. We'll see where you're at. Definitely, my friend.
Yep. So I'll still be in Korea.
You'll still be in Korea. I'll still be in Michigan, so I'm not going anywhere, Chris. Chris Brandon's on the show, everybody, from Eisige. We'll say it again for me. Eisige Venen?
Eisige Venen.
Eisige Venen.
There you go.
Eisige Venen. There we go, everybody. At the end of the show, I get Eisige Venen. So check out Eisige Venen in the platforms that Chris told us about. Hey, one more time, Chris, what are those platforms?
Spotify, Bandcamp, Amazon Music, you name it, it's there.
It's there. So check out Eisige Venen. And more to come, he says. And of course, we want to hear it. Definitely, don't we, people? Yes, we do. So support your local and national original music scene. Please, people out there, no matter where we are, we're in South Korea right now, people. So check the music out. Doesn't matter where you are. All genres, all age groups. So we're at 42 minutes, my friend. We're going to get to wrapping up. This is your show. What do you want to say? Any shout outs to anybody? The last moments of the show?
I want to shout out definitely, all the people that I work with.
There you go.
All the people from Anger Overdose, Eisige Venen, Dead Deceased, Josh over at Rotting Sun Records, Christina and Greg at Vox and Sticks, and everybody that follows us on social media. We pour our souls and our hearts into what we do, and to have any sort of feedback is more meaningful and more impactful than I think most people realize.
Yeah, it does. Well, that's great that you got all these great people along with you here. Amazing. You're doing amazing stuff, Chris. I appreciate it. Appreciate everything you're doing.
I appreciate the opportunity.
Not a problem, my friend. We'll stay in touch. Need anything, just give me a holler, my friend, and we'll get you back on the show. I want to see what else is coming out. Definitely.
Sounds good.
Definitely, Chris. All right, my friend. It's bedtime. This over here on this side of the world.
So just start my day on this side of the world.
Starting your day on that side of the world. Okay. Well, I want to thank Chris Brandon for being on the show. Everybody, thank you for checking out the No Cover TV podcast. Check out the previous shows. Check out this show and the music, and the shows coming up. The next show will be with Mr. Michael Bate out of Pennsylvania. We'll have some fun with Michael, of course. Chris, I want to thank you so much, my friend, for representing what band again?
Which one?
Let's go down the list. Eisige Venen. Oh, I almost did it. Damn it.
Eisige Venen, Anger Overdose, and Dead Deceased.
Eisige Venen. There we go. Eisige Venen. Yes. Check them out. Okay, people, get out there. Get off your butts. Check these people out. Pay that cover charge. Get some swag. Get the CDs. Please support, because it does cost money to get the gear, doesn't it, Chris?
It sure does.
And it does. It's not cheap anymore. Boy, it isn't. So support. Chris Brandon, thank you so much, my friend. Take care. And, we're going to keep in touch, brother. We're going to keep in touch. Keep blowing over the music.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, everybody out podcast land. We're going to wrap it up, but we're going to talk to Chris down the road. All right. We'll talk to you soon. Have a good night. Chris, I'll talk to you soon, brother, and I'll get this link to you. All right.
Yes, sir.
All right. Take care, everybody. This is No Cover TV and Big Al and Chris. We're out here. Peace. See you, Chris.
Bye.
Bye.